Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. If this is your first time visiting us and you harbor a keen interest in understanding more about narcissistic abuse, I encourage you to subscribe right away. Also, if any queries arise as you navigate through this topic, please feel free to pose them anonymously. Now, without any further ado, let's delve deep into the subject matter at hand. Firstly, one of the most profound ways to inflict lasting emotional hurt on a narcissist is by ignoring them. It's a universal truth that being ignored can create feelings of discontent in anyone. However, the impact of ignoring a narcissist, an individual who thrives on your attention, energy, and everything else you offer, is analogous to depriving them of the air they breathe. This is something narcissists abhor. Initially, you're perceived as a person who is unwaveringly committed to them, someone who will never abandon them under any circumstances. This is one of the primary reasons they were drawn to you in the first place. Hence, when you ignore them, it deals a severe blow to their self-esteem. Additionally, your indifference forces them to strive harder to regain your attention or to find a replacement source of dependency. In most cases, they'll attempt a combination of all three strategies, a level of effort they'd rather not invest. They'd much rather you remain passive and easily manipulated. Why does this action inflict such deep hurt on them? They may not confess it, but the pain stems from a place of shock and disbelief. They never anticipated that you would reach a point where you'd completely sever contact or ignore them indefinitely. Moreover, it's a blow to their inflated self-esteem. You've freed yourself from their manipulative tactics. Even better, you've emerged victorious. You've regained control and extricated yourself from their toxic influence. This loss of your support induces significant distress in them. Of course, their nature dictates that they'll move on. That's just who they are. But I can guarantee you that the moment you cut off all ties and communication with them, you etch a memory that they'll carry with them for a long, long time. Secondly, since it has already been mentioned, let's delve into the concept known as the narc injury, a severe blow to a narcissist's self-esteem. This narcissistic injury, which triggers profound emotional pain, is inflicted when you take steps such as holding the narcissist accountable for their actions, establishing boundaries or standards, or subjecting them to criticism. Regardless of whether the criticism is professional and constructive, or it results in their embarrassment or humiliation, it wounds them deeply. What you're essentially doing is puncturing the fantastical bubble within which they reside. Bear in mind that there's the real world where we all exist, and then there's the narcissist's highly distorted version of reality. This is where they dwell. Therefore, when you burst this imaginary bubble, they are momentarily compelled to confront their true selves. This is something they loathe. It hurts them because, at their core, they harbor an intense self-loathing. They refuse to admit that their behavior might be inappropriate or flawed in any way. I have previously created a detailed video discussing how I inflicted a narc injury on the narcissist I had to deal with. Much like I elucidated my process, others have shared accounts of how they have either deliberately or accidentally caused a similar injury. This invariably results in a dent in the narcissist's ego. It's an experience they won't easily forget. That's why when survivors are responsible for causing a narc injury, even if they are oblivious to their actions, the likelihood of being subjected to manipulation again diminishes, or at the very least, it takes a considerable amount of time for the narcissist to make another attempt, as they will deliberate multiple times before deciding whether to approach you again. Thirdly, another action that leaves a deep imprint of distress on a narcissist for an extended period is rejection. If you are the one who takes the initiative to terminate the relationship and walk away, you wield significant power over the narcissist. Narcissists harbor a persistent desire to be the ones to call it quits. They crave control. They ensure that they have a new support system in place, allowing them to orchestrate the end of the relationship on their terms. If they are the ones to leave, it simplifies their task of spinning a woeful tale, playing the victim, and garnering sympathy and support from others. This also facilitates them in launching a more effective smear campaign against you. They'll make statements such as, "I had no choice but to leave," or "They were untruthful, disloyal," and much more. Once again, it's much easier for them to don the victim's cloak. However, when you are the one who decides to leave, you strip them of these manipulative tools. They might not have a new person ready to depend on entirely. They might enjoy some support, but it's not someone they're keen on relying on for the long haul. They can still resort to lies and play the victim card, but it won't be as effective since you were the one who left. You were the one who ended the relationship. You might have even cut them off from their living arrangement or financial resources. Therefore, when you seize control and walk away, it's a devastating blow for them. Moreover, let's underscore this point. They never anticipate you taking this step. They never expect you to leave and maintain your distance. So, when you execute this action, it leaves an indelible mark on their memory, deeply affecting them. Therefore, if you wish to gain a deeper understanding of this, I recommend revisiting the discussion under point number 2. The fourth point is about moving on. I have interacted with hundreds of survivors through emails, personal sessions, and live chats, and one common narrative often emerges. I had totally moved on. I was actually starting to feel better. I wasn't obsessing anymore. I wasn't upset about the past. I was progressing with my life. And then, only then did they try to manipulate me again. I had the exact same experience. It's as if they suddenly realize, "Oh, it seems like they're feeling better. Let me send them one of those random 'I miss you' texts," and upend their entire day by triggering a whirlwind of emotions. It's an aspect of the disorder, one of many, that I confess I don't fully comprehend because my mindset simply doesn't align with this behavior. They are completely done with us. They lie, cheat, and steal. And in some cases, we offer them so little towards the end. It's baffling, isn't it? We offer them nothing, and yet they refuse to let us be. Do you see what I mean? Narcissists don't leave until they decide to. When things end, you presume they won't return. They pushed me away. They're done with me. But as soon as we start to recover, they reappear. It's almost as if they can sense an opportunity for manipulation. It's as if they just know. Honestly, it's perplexing. Either the narcissist wants us, or they don't. I fail to understand, but their timing always seems impeccable. However, it varies for each individual. I was duped again 3 months later. Some people report being tricked again after a month of feeling better. The timing is always different, and it's something that leaves me bewildered. But let's put my grievances aside. Your progress, whether in love or not, is immaterial. If you're just moving forward in your life without any romantic entanglements, when you start to heal, to feel better, if you're managing in a healthy way, perhaps you've joined support groups or are undergoing therapy and life starts to feel wonderful again. It's no coincidence that they attempt to return and exploit your progress. I genuinely don't believe it's because they just know. They don't want you to be happy. They don't want you to succeed. It becomes evident after enough research. They're profoundly jealous and insecure about everything. But you're moving on as something that deeply upsets them and leaves an enduring imprint. Now let's take a moment to recap. Narcissists won't admit that these things hurt them, at least most won't, because it would tarnish their pride and ego. They'll attempt to portray a tough or emotionless facade. So, bear in mind that while the items on my list do hurt narcissists, they will inevitably move on to someone else in their quest for unattainable perfection and happiness. This is the cycle. This is the nature of it. So, I don't want anyone to harbor the illusion that any of these actions can transform a narcissist into a better person or make them chase you indefinitely. They won't. They're going to ruminate over these things, they're going to reflect on them, and it's going to disturb them, but they do move on. They cease to chase. It's inevitable. This isn't a list of actions that you necessarily need to take against a narcissist. You just need to exit the relationship, heal, and center your attention on yourself. This isn't about being spiteful. It's simply demonstrating that there are things that cause them pain, things that will bother them for a long time, and they're probably never going to disclose this. Their pursuit and relentless chasing after you won't last forever. But if you act in your own best interest, you'll likely end up performing most of the actions on this list anyway. And this is why all of this is so potent. You don't need revenge. You really don't need to do anything extraordinary. Prioritize yourself, do what's in your best interest, and these things will naturally follow. It's like accomplishing two objectives with one simple action. The fifth factor that profoundly impacts a narcissist for the remainder of their lives is the fear of being forgotten. Narcissists are dependent on continual ego reinforcement. They are addicted to attention and admiration. Even as I was drafting this and now articulating it, I find the mere discussion of them to be exhausting. When they feel forgotten, it strikes yet another blow to their inflated ego. They are confronted with the reality that they are not as pivotal as they perceive themselves to be. The world does not, contrary to their belief, revolve around them. This realization might spur them to regain control. They might indulge in attention-seeking behaviors if they detect that someone is gradually distancing themselves. So, don't allow these individuals to torment you indefinitely. They'll give it their all, I can assure you from personal experience. I can attest to this. At times, they persist, whether you're conscious of it or not. Some of them linger for the long haul. Another action that inflicts a deep wound on a narcissist is when you visibly move on with someone else. This could generally be categorized under moving on, but I wanted to distinguish them to highlight a difference. Life proceeds without them, whether it's with a new partner or if you decide to spend some time alone. Truthfully, they detest both scenarios, but witnessing you with someone else is evidently more painful. They grapple with feelings akin to what we experience when we see them with a new partner. They evaluate their own situation just as we do. They experience jealousy and start pondering questions like, what's so special about this new person? What's going on here? A narcissist might strive to regain control in this situation, attempting to divert your attention from your new relationship and entice you back to them. And, as I mentioned, they contemplate many of the same things we do, and I believe they experience self-loathing similar to what we might feel at times. Observing you move on with someone else, advancing and discovering happiness in your life, this is something they don't easily release. So, I invite you to share in the comments what you believe deeply hurts a narcissist. Let me know if there's something you did intentionally or unintentionally that you think has hurt a narcissist or dealt a blow to their ego. Damaged their fragile ego, inflicted that narc injury. As always, feel free to spill the tea with me. Oh, and occasionally I receive comments inquiring about the meaning of spill the tea. Spill the tea, like the beverage you sip, actually denotes the act of sharing some juicy information or gossip. You can either gossip or tell the truth. I lean towards telling the truth, but essentially it implies sharing some revealing details about the narcissist in your life. To put it simply, spill the tea just means we're engaging in a discussion in the comments section. So, feel free to comment, even if it's about my occasional swearing. That's completely fine. I genuinely don't mind. It's amusing, and I typically don't delete such comments because they amuse me. So, feel free to express your thoughts freely. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, as it truly supports me. If you haven't already, do subscribe to the channel and share the video if you believe it could be helpful to other survivors in spaces where my videos may not have reached. Wishing you a wonderful day, survivor, and remember to take good care of yourself.